Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this legislation would require the Attorney General to submit an annual report to Congress providing the demographic data of those who failed the National Instant Criminal Background Check as part of an attempted firearm purchase in the preceding year. The National Instant Criminal Background Check System, or NICS, has processed more than 300 million checks since the FBI launched the system in 1998. NICS checks are critical to enforcing our laws that prohibit certain individuals from possessing a firearm. The overwhelming majority of NICS checks determine that the prospective purchaser may legally purchase a firearm, and these checks are typically completed in just a few minutes. This means that there is little to no imposition on the rights of responsible gun owners. But in some instances, a NICS search determines that a person may not legally purchase a firearm because the person is matched to a serious criminal conviction, a domestic violence restraining order, a dishonorable discharge from the armed forces, a wanted persons list, or other disqualifying record. Since its inception, NICS has denied sales in 1.5 million transactions, keeping millions of firearms out of the hands of those who should not have them. Congressman Massey first brought this reporting requirement when we approved it as an amendment to the Protecting Our Kids Act, a gun violence prevention package that we marked up last Congress. At that time, he argued that it would shed light on those who are falsely denied by NICS. He argued that Black and Hispanic men were especially likely to experience false denials since, due to over-incarceration, they are disproportionately likely to share a name with a Black or Hispanic man who is incarcerated. The FBI, which operates NICS, has multiple processes available to address the possibility of false denial. When a person receives a denial, he or she may use an online system to quickly file a free appeal, which will also inform the person of the reason for the denial. The FBI has also established a system specifically for those who experience delays or repeated denials that they believe are in error, which could be due to having a name similar to a person who is prohibited from purchasing firearms. By using the voluntary appeal file process, a person can have his or her case reviewed by the FBI. FBI staff can then confirm that the person may legally purchase firearms and then issue a unique personal identification number, which can be used to ensure accuracy and efficiency in future background checks. These procedures are in addition to the use of other demographic information like date of birth and the optional provision of a Social Security number, which reduces the instances of false denials due to name overlap or other reasons. In 2022, more than 31 million NICS checks were conducted. Of these checks, just 0.07%, 7 out of 10,000, were denials that were appealed, and just 0.02%, 2 in 10,000, were denials that were appealed and then overturned. The overwhelming majority of NICS denials are the result of the system working as it should, keeping guns out of the hands of those who are prohibited from having them. Given the importance of NICS, we must continue to make sure that it is a trustworthy system that does not burden lawful gun owners with false denials, and critically, does not mistakenly allow gun sales to those who are prohibited from having firearms and may harm our communities. That is why I've repeatedly supported efforts to improve the records in NICS through legislation and targeted grants. I hope our colleagues will continue to work with us on future efforts to ensure the accuracy of NICS to keep all of us safer. I thank Congressman Massey for working with our staff on a bipartisan basis to improve his bill by ensuring that the demographic reporting it would require also includes the reason for such denials. This will help us have a fuller understanding of not only who is denied, but why. The modification will make the bill even stronger than when we approved it last Congress as an amendment to the Protecting Our Kids Act. I hope this legislation will continue our understanding of the functioning of NICS so that we can continue to improve it. I am pleased to support the bill, and I urge my colleagues to support it as well. Before I yield back, I must also note that yesterday was the anniversary of the shooting that killed 17 people and injured 17 more at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Yesterday also marked the 48th mass shooting just this year so far, as one or more people opened fire in a crowd of thousands gathered to celebrate Kansas City's Super Bowl win. Lisa Lopez Galvin, a local DJ, wife and mother of 2, has died. 21 others were shot, including 9 children. In the last Congress, under Democratic control, this committee had advanced many bills that would reduce gun violence to save lives, including the Protecting Our Kids Act, the Assault Weapons Ban, and the Federal Extreme Risk Protection Order Act. Each of those went on to receive bipartisan support on the House floor. We also passed the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first gun violence prevention legislation to become law in decades. But in this Congress, under Republican control, this committee has not advanced a single bill to prevent gun violence. The Republican leadership has not allowed a single vote that will prevent losses of life like those that occurred in Parkland, in Kansas City, or in countless other cities. Democrats continue to offer solutions, but our colleagues continue to block us from making Americans safer. Nearly 50,000 Americans have died by firearm since Republicans took control of the House. The events that took place yesterday did not change anything about the agenda for this markup, but we cannot let them go unnoticed. They are a reminder that every day of inaction costs the lives of more Americans. I call on my Republican colleagues to join us in our effort to end gun violence. Thank you, and I yield back.